My name is Paul Kerfoot. I'm also known as the Bullet Man, and my role within the Confident Club is I'm actually the head coach of Young Confident Club. Okay. My theme for today was about taking action, and my idea to change the world is a project linked to CIAG. That's Careers, Information, Advice and Guidance, to fulfil the skills, the job skills match in education. There's a big problem with that at the moment. So my idea is a project called Future. After all, we did history at school, but why did we never do Future? And the idea is to deliver alternative, life-changing careers advice for young people. All my life, I used to draw, and then somebody said you can be a designer. And the skill I had was that I was creative, but it was actually the ideas, not the execution, that was my skill. So I think mastering my creativity has been a challenge I've had to come across all my life, and about how to get all those ideas working. I used to draw out of comics, 2000 AD and Roy of the Rovers and things, and I actually wasn't particularly great at drawing, but I could copy. What became apparent was it wasn't the execution of the ideas, it was actually the idea itself. That was what was particularly strong at. Very, very creative and lots of ideas. Now, as I got older, the skill, I suppose, that I mastered was to become a designer, to become a creative marketeer. But actually, I've carried that on now into motivational speaking and communication. And what's interesting is if I had to rewind when I was back at school, I actually would have liked to have been an entertainer. To actually, I call it the art of communication. That's why I'm interested in Young Confident Club, because we, apparently, you can draw, you can master the written word, but the real master skill is to become a great speaker. And apparently, if you can master all three skills, then you become a top communicator. If I could give one piece of advice to young people, it would be to look at the jobs of the future, not the jobs of the past. To actually look at changing market conditions. Like there's so many jobs coming out in the future, like for instance internet detective. That was a made-up title, but if you look at all the recent news with all the cyber terrorism, and how many internet detectives are they going to need in the future? So that actual prediction is really starting to become apparent now. And I think it's about not looking at the title of the job, but looking actually what the world needs, and actually learning the skills for what the world needs, rather than just thinking I'm going to do these jobs that people have done in the past. Because the world's changing, the jobs are changing, and young people need to get more focused on jobs and skills at a much earlier age. That's what I would advise. And even mastering things like, why not come up with your own values when you're 10, 11 years old instead of doing it in your 30s or 40s like everybody else. The most important thing to me right now is to make a difference in people's lives, whether it's a business audience or whether it's speaking in schools, to actually change somebody's path, to make them stop and think, hang on, instead of going that way, why don't I flip it around and go the other way? And instead of going where all my mates and my friends are going, how about I look at something that would be a better career path for me? That's why I'm doing the work on the Future Project, to educate young people about perhaps don't do what your friends do. Perhaps go the opposite way and perhaps look at things like engineering and manufacturing, which is very, very stereotyped. So it's about focusing on the right thing and not just focusing on what everybody else seems to do. So it's about breaking patterns and things as well.